Our stories, of course, on our website. Right now here on BBC One, let's join our colleagues for the news wherever you are this afternoon. Bye for now.
Thanks to Jane here in the East Midlands. I'm Anne Davis. Good afternoon. Hello there, welcome to the programme. Well, first is lunchtime. Derby-based Rolls-Royce is cutting up to 2,500 jobs, and that's around 6% of its global workforce. The engineering firm's chief executive says he wants to build a more streamlined and efficient organisation to deliver for customers, partners and shareholders. Well, our business correspondent Theo Leggett joins us now. Theo, good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for speaking to us. What does this actually mean to Derby? Let's look at that first.
Well, obviously Derby is where an awful lot of Rolls-Royce's UK workforce is based, some 13,000 in the main factory, and there's the submarine business as well. But the submarine business is not going to be affected by these cuts, as I understand it. That's funded by the Ministry of Defence, so there's no particular urgency for Rolls-Royce to make savings there. And when it comes to the civil aircraft engine manufacturing business, well, you might remember that during the height of the pandemic, that was the victim of some very severe cuts among frontline engineering workers. Some 9,000 people were laid off during that period. Well, that side of the business is actually doing quite well at the moment. Airlines are flying. There is demand for engines and demand for engine servicing, so there's no urgency in getting rid of frontline workers either. So where we understand these job cuts are going to fall is mainly in back office services. So that's HR, that's legal, that's finance, and some of those may well take place in Derby and across the rest of the country. But in terms of the overall impact of the cuts, we're talking about hundreds there, probably, rather than thousands. As the various bits of the business are brought together, which is what the new chief executive is trying to do, he wants to eliminate duplication. A lot of that duplication is actually in a major part of the business based in Germany. It's called Rolls-Royce Power Systems. And it's that part of the business where we think overall the biggest impact of the job cuts is going to fall, rather than in Derby. OK,
well, the good news for Derby. Theo, thank you very much indeed. The NHS is gearing up for a tough winter as it continues to tackle the record backlog of people waiting to start hospital treatment. Across the East Midlands, more than 500,000 are actually on those waiting lists. Well, our health correspondent Rob Sissons reports now from the Sherwood Hospitals Trust in Nottinghamshire on the measures that they're taking to help with the undoubted pressures that lie ahead.
Yes, every year we seem to hear that winter will be tougher than the last for the NHS. Let's have a chat with Ross Roddy, who's at the Mansfield Community Hospital here. You're the matron. What do you reckon about this winter?
Yes, I definitely think that this winter will be one of the toughest we've experienced, and I've been about for the last few.
Why is that?
Because the demand for patients that are coming through the emergency care system is not decreasing. Over the last 2 weeks alone, and we're not even in winter, we've seen a rise in admissions.
You're getting ready here. You've got 5 extra beds on this ward ready for rehab patients. Will that help?
Yeah, so every bed counts. Every little helps. So we have got 5 extra beds, we've got the equipment, we've got the staff.
Ross, thanks very much. I've been downstairs to see how they're boosting diagnostics ahead of winter with so many people waiting for tests. Let's have a chat with Lucy. Huge backlog that we've heard about in the NHS, with over 500,000 people waiting to start treatment in the East Midlands. That's one of your jobs, isn't it, to try and keep the flow of patients going?
It is, yes, absolutely. And down here, we're trying to move some of our elective services and protect that capacity through winter. So here we're delivering around 255 additional phlebotomy tests per week.
They're blood tests?
Blood tests, yes. And we've also got additional MRI capacity out in the community on a mobile unit. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be launching additional accelerated activity, which is ultrasound and echo scans for our patients.
OK, thanks for telling us about that. We know it's going to be a really tough winter for the NHS. We're being told to do our bit and obviously only turn up at A&E if we really need to.
Rob Sissons, our health correspondent, reporting there. Let's have a look at some of the day's other news. And young people in Derbyshire are going to be able to travel for £1.50. That's from next month, and it's for a single fare. Derbyshire County Council hopes that the discount will ease the cost of living crisis on teenagers. Youngsters between 11 and 19 are eligible, as well as those on a training course or even an apprenticeship. But they will actually need a Beeline travel card to get the reduced fare. A cyclist, a man who's in his 60s, has died following a fatal collision in Leicester. Well, police were called to a report of a crash involving a grey Audi A4 and a cyclist in Watermead Way. Now, that was just before 7 yesterday evening. The 4 people who were travelling in the car, well, they weren't injured and no one has been arrested. Police are appealing for witnesses, though, to come forward to help with their investigation. A debt management charity in Nottinghamshire says, well, it's actually busier than ever following the collapse of discount retailer Wilko. Thousands of workers, of course, lost their jobs last month after the workshop-based company went into administration. Bassett Law's Citizens Advice says, well, there just aren't enough jobs locally for the number of people now out of work, as Emily Anderson reports.
When Wilko went bust, it hit this part of Nottinghamshire harder than most places. Around 2,000 workers lost their jobs in the Bassett Law area.
It was a body blow, certainly. Yeah, because all we've been told all the time is there's nothing happening, it's not going to be, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're being made redundant.
One of them was Craig, a Wilko employee for 4 years. He was a team leader at the distribution centre.
When I lost my job, I sent off 86 applications online, applied for 86 jobs. I was absolutely determined I was going to get a job.
Bassett Law's Citizens Advice says it's managing around £1.9 million worth of debt, twice as much as last year.
Please come to us as soon as possible because we're here to help. That's what we're here for. And don't be embarrassed. It's all confidential and there's a lot of people in a similar situation.
Some of those looking for work in Bassett Law need local employment because transport might be an issue, but there simply aren't enough jobs available here.
Any town where you've got a massive risk of unemployment, around 2,000 people, is going to have quite a hit on the town. So it is really difficult because there'll be a lot of people wanting local jobs.
Pat worked in the warehouse at Worksop for more than 5 years. She lost her job last month.
There's been times when you've just wanted to sit and cry, but then there's another part of you that thinks, no, come on, get up, get on with it. Stay positive, you'll do it, you'll find something. And I'm sure I will.
It's good news for Craig. He's managed to find a job and says although he still misses his fellow Wilko workers, he feels confident about the future. Emily Anderson, BBC East Midlands Today, Worksop.
It's time now for the weather. It's quite chilly, isn't it, Sarah?
Yeah, last of the colder days, though, today, because we've got Storm Babette on the way. So that's really going to start to give us another side to autumnal weather. And when it was cold at night time, this little spider's been working overtime, I think. So captured by Alan in Nether Broughton, sending this in. So a lot of hard work's gone into that. And it's all sparkly, isn't it, with the cold weather. But we are going to see that change coming in now. And it's all due to a deep area of low pressure. And it's gradually starting to approach as well. So we've just got a bit more of a breeze picking up into the afternoon today, but it's been a fine day so far. It's bright outside, just hazy sunshine with us and staying fine and dry into the afternoon with just the wind just picking up a little bit more. So the daytime temperature today, a maximum of 14 to 15 Celsius. But through the evening and overnight, where it's been cold for the last couple of nights, we've got a little bit of cloud around tonight, and the wind is obviously keeping the temperatures up as well. So 8 or 9 Celsius, the minimum temperature into the early hours. But through tomorrow, we've got a dry start initially to tomorrow, but the cloud will start to thicken up through the daytime. And then as we're heading into the afternoon, the first signs of that band of heavy rain and the winds strengthening further. So gusts of up to 40, possibly 45 miles an hour. Some very wet weather with us overnight and into Thursday. Blustery showers still around through the daytime on Thursday. And this outlook looks a little bit grim at the moment, doesn't it? If you wanted the drier weather, we see the temperatures dropping again over the weekend with more wet and windy weather.
Thought grim just about summed that up, Sarah. Thank you. We're not grim here, though, so I hope you can make it back to us just after 6:30. I'll be here. Until then, have a good afternoon. Bye.
This is the most physically demanding and emotionally draining game on television.